Welcome to JRN. This is the Jackal Racing Network. We're here for this broadcast of the BIRA Rookie Showcase. I'm AJ. That's Stampy. Stampy, it's a show for the new boys out here today. What do you expect out of this one?
I'm expecting a lot of great racing, a lot of tight packs, and since it's a super speedway, maybe a lot of crashes.
Yeah, there's a bit of an echo there. Apologies, I'm not sure where that was from, but hopefully we can get that fixed up. But I think it's a plate track. It's a bunch of rookies, as the name of the showcase event implies. And there is a bit of lag, so I think it's going to be pretty interesting. There's going to be a lot of crashing. We saw a bunch of crashing here during the qualifying session. Not all these boys make it. I don't actually know exactly who makes it and who don't, but I'm sure the officials will get that figured out. But it's an exciting day, getting ready for the new BIRA season here at Daytona, and I expect this to be a good one. A lot of action, probably going to be a lot of passing. Both lines seem to work pretty well, but it will be interesting to see how exactly this plays out.
Yeah, we'll see soon enough.
Was the echo off the stream? I don't know.
I think so. Because I just checked in.
Okay, yeah, it's off of Icky's stream. Okay, that's fine. That makes sense. Currently a black screen, so hopefully that gets sorted out. However, this is, BRA Rookie Showcases before the Clash. I actually kind of like the idea of having two events, one for the veteran drivers, one for the rookies. Kind of get to know everybody. It really helps people, get to know the new drivers and get the drivers to help know each other because, you're going to be racing next to these guys all season. Might as well get used to racing them as they're all getting lined up here on pit road. Do you have any favorites to win this one, looking at the roster?
Actually, no, I'm gonna stay neutral on this because I think that there's a great number of drivers who are going to surprise us this race. So I'm gonna keep my my bets all the way until the end.
Yeah, well, I'm a betting man. You know that. Now, Joel Lucado is, he's Joel Lucado. I saw
Indeed.
him back in my league. I used to own Hines, and he was just butt terrible. However, on the plate tracks, he drove amazing. He was cutting through people, pushing guys through the corner. He was doing everything. He was racing like a madman, and it was paying off. I believe he actually won Daytona 2 seasons ago, if I recall correctly. I forget. But Joel Lucado, I think you can't mess with him. He's pretty decent. Bob is the Boo. We saw him during the most recent Jackal race getting absolutely annihilated constantly. And the game has been temporarily shut down, so we have to reconnect. But, Stampy, this race, how many cautions do you expect to see out here?
I mean, any number can go during a super speedway. I mean, I've seen some serious green flag runs on Daytona across many leagues, and then I've seen some absolute caution fests on super speedways. So I think it'll just be up to the skill set of these drivers. And I mean, personally, I do think there's gonna be quite a few cautions since this is a rookie showcase, of course.
Yes, and we're currently getting everybody on the track as all the drivers pull out of pit lane. They're all going to get lined up here on pit road. But I think it's going to be really interesting to just see who comes, who goes, who races good, who doesn't in this race. And it's a showcase. These drivers, it's an on-points race, but it's still very important to these guys, I'm sure, racing well, putting together a good performance, and making a name for themselves here in the BIRA Cup Series. I'm going to check the stream audio, make sure everything's working there on the technical side. We actually kind of had to get a ramshackle. We had to go quickly to get each other kind of, fixed up because AJ was supposed to do this race, but
Yeah.
unfortunately, I don't think his ass is even home yet. So we got Stampy here. Always glad to have Stampy. We commentated Talladega last season in Jackal together, I believe. So,
Oh yeah, and then Tampa Bay this season.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, so our audio is working on the stream. That's good. We're looking at the stream here as they're getting the cameras set up. The cars are lining up on pit road. Everybody's getting ready. My pick for this race, I said Joel Lucado, but I got to go against that. In Fortnite of Millie Rock, that username is so good that I just... we've seen him before. I think that just that username just automatically makes you the favorite, in my opinion. You're going to win the race. You have a username like that, so I think you got to go for him. Yeah, but during this race, I think we have to definitely think about the low side versus the high side, right? Because we saw guys making moves on each other during practice qualifying on the high side. However, if all things are equal, the inside line and the outside line are going to be about equal. Are going to be about equal, if there's the same amount of cars in them. But the inside line has the advantage of having the shorter circumference around the track. So they don't have to be quite... What? I have no idea.
But with rookie drivers, we also have much doubt and inexperience. As we've seen in a lot of leagues, including Jackal, many people are afraid of taking the outside as they're afraid that they're going to be left alone. What do you think drivers are going to do this time around to encourage other drivers to take the outside with them?
Well, I think there's two ways a plate race can go, right? There can be people being really aggressive right from the start, trying to get as many positions right away. Or you can get guys just in a line almost immediately, just getting in line and just staying together and just kind of running laps down until it's time to go, right? Think about the 2019 Daytona 500, right? Just
Yes.
kind of everyone got in line, stayed in line, or 2020 Daytona 500, apologies. And then at the end, they started breaking off and making these big moves. Now, we saw the Jackal Talladega race not too long ago, where guys were 3-4 wide all the way through. There's wrecks happening, a lot of hard driving against each other.
Yeah, I was in that race. It was a very, very aggressive race towards the end.
Yes. And, I think that's something we could also see. It's two different ways it can go. And those plate races can take on a life of their own. There's different ways that a plate race can be run. And it'll be interesting to see how this one is.
Definitely.
Now, sitting on the pole here is in Fortnite, I'm Millie Rock. That's still just the best username on the platform. I think he's definitely got a good chance of this one. Starting outside of him is the 07 car. I'm trying to figure out who that is. It's a rookie showcase. These guys are all new to us too, aren't they, Stampy? I mean, I haven't seen half these guys in the field before, so it's going to be interesting how they are.
That was something I was going to point out. I've only seen about like 5 of these drivers. Trainwreck, Waternet, Sleesher. In my Fortnite Millie Rock, I have seen him race as well. Yeah. But yeah, most of these guys are very, very unknown drivers who I hope they're going to make a name for themselves.
Yeah, a lot of these guys are very green. I don't think that too many of these guys are completely new to road racing on the platform, but I do think that a lot of these guys are pretty new to this style of road racing. I haven't seen any of these guys in Jackal or Bira, obviously not in Bira. But a couple of these guys, I can tell you how they race. Smalls is very aggressive. He races like an ass, but he can be pretty quick sometimes. And I know him from Hines, Jackal. I think he's actually raced in Bira before, but he hasn't completed the amount of races necessary to be not a rookie, which is why he's allowed to take part in this race. Racing Guest Alt, we've seen him before in a couple of different leagues. However, I actually don't know how good he is or isn't. Joel Lucado, as we said before, he can be a real wrecking ball, but watch for him at the end of this race to come strong towards the front. In Fortnite, I'm Millie Rock sitting on the pole in that number 1 Pennzoil car. Definitely a favorite, I think. He's very good at this game. He's just a great racer, has great racecraft. But I think that he's definitely somebody you got to look out for. On the outside of him, Waternet, I swear I've seen him before, but I actually don't know where. Trainwreck is driving the pace car. That beautiful Pontiac Grand... What is that? Is that Pontiac Grand Prix? Pontiac Grand Prix. Great car, by the way. Pontiac Grand Prix. One of my favorites.
Very beautiful.
Baseball Freak sitting near the back in that number 7 car. We saw him yesterday in Jackal, or just a few days ago in Jackal racing. I think he got a top 5 that race, if I recall correctly.
Yeah, he was second.
Second, yeah, he was up there. He was up there in that one. He was racing good. Yep. And Diamond Beast Law, I've seen him before. He was in Hines a couple seasons ago. I don't remember how good he was. Trooper A, I forget how good he is. Insane Moreau, sitting P last. I was going to say he's really good, but apparently he's in P last. And then Bob is the Boo in that number 14 car. Is he the guy who kept wrecking during that Jackal race yesterday? Was just having a terrible day, but we were all rooting for him?
During Bob is Boo, you're talking about Isaiah. Yeah, during the Division 1 race.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of us in that race were just starting to slide with our back ends facing outward.
I remember him just hitting everything. That is 8K? That's 8K?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, he has like 20 different accounts, so that's always good to see him. I'm actually kind of surprised they let him race in the rookie division. He's probably going to wipe the floor with some of these guys if he gets a chance. But here we go, coming towards the start-finish line. I believe the pace car is going to pull off this time, possibly. Nope, we're going to... Oh, here we go. So we are going to go this time. And this is the BIRA Rookie Showcase. Good start by that one car. They're going to go 3 wide behind him. The 07 goes up to the high side. That's Waternet. And now all these guys are going to pack. And this is going to be a real interesting scene, just to see how these guys get off the line. I think it's going to be a real challenge pacing yourselves in this one.
Oh yeah, as we see that outside line starting to already crumble, as we have the number 7 car having to fall back. Now we're starting to see it redevelop as we go into turn 3.
There's going to be a real ebb and flow. On the outside, Trooper is not getting really up to that bumper of the 62 car, so the inside line, if everything else is equal, the inside line is just going to be better because they have a shorter way around the racetrack. While the high side will get the, they'll get the run off because they're a bit straighter off the corner. And we see a couple of cars nearly go around there. The 14 car tags the 68. 68 goes all the way around.
Ooh, wow.
And he might be able to keep it straight. The 14 spears back across the track, collects a few other cars, no caution, and we stay green. Meanwhile, Jay Walta making a move on the outside in that 18 Interstate battery car. Can't quite get around the number 1 of Fortnite Millie Rock. He's going to have to get back down here because he has no help there on the outside. It's kind of like old Bristol almost, these plate tracks, with the Gen 4 car. If you don't have any help on the outside, you go straight to the back. So you definitely have to be smart about that. Now that's 63 now coming on the inside of the 18. You wonder if he's going to try and make a move here. Looks like the 18 shuts the door on him. And I don't know the pit strategy here. I don't think they have to pit necessarily, but I actually don't know. I remember last year there was a 40-lap race here in B-Road where they did pit. So hopefully we can get some confirmation on what the pit strategy is. But yeah, let's see, everyone's all in a line now, kind of training. And this is what we talked about, right? You can kind of get into a train during these plate races and just wait.
As this train continues to be maintained, 72 and the 81 are starting to fall back in.
Now apparently they're gonna have to pit once. That's what I've learned. And everyone in chat is saying they either don't know the pit strategy or they're gonna pit when they want to. So that's some. You can tell they've thought about it quite a bit. But as the 81 gotten out to a huge lead, honestly, for a plate track. He's got about 7 car lengths on the next car in line. I think that part of that's just that experience. He's just stand on the throttle, doing things just about perfect on the bottom there. And guys behind him are starting to get 2 wide, 3 wide again. I wonder if that high side is going to try and make a run at him.
Well, we'll see if it redevelops soon. I honestly think it's going to be a little bit until we see that outside line redeveloped and actually maintained for a few laps. Especially after that first attempt where it crumbled. Going into turn 3 on lap 2.
Now on the right side of your screen, you're about to see the backpack of the field here. And you can see them on the right there, I believe. That is the backpack. A couple of cars got knocked out of that pack during that opening lap wreck. Caused by the 14 car spearing across the track. So those guys are now relegated to the back of the field. And those guys aren't really packed together. You want to see them get packed together a little bit better, Maybe let that car catch up to you so you can stay in line and get back towards the front. And we have a car spearing up towards the wall. That's the 18, and I don't know if he's going to be able to save it. Car kind of floats back to a pivot point, gets straightened again as the 72 forces the 01 out of line. The 01's trying to get back down here. I don't think he's going to be able to. 72 is going to clear him. Now the 01's going straight back. That's in the middle of the pack. Things have been very racy in the mid-pack, but up at the front it seems like the leader just has too good of an advantage to get past by 1 car without much draft. And the 62 car sitting on the outside of the 61. Now, if you're sitting in this pack, Stampy, what are you going to do here? What are your plans? If you're sitting in 4th or 5th right now, you want to go up and help that car up top, or what are you doing?
I would say not, especially since this happened recently at Talladega for me. You always have that fear that if you go and help them, they're just gonna go back, take a spot, maybe 5th, 6th, and you're just gonna be left to run dry on the outside. And another fear is that if you hesitate with trying to help someone on the outside, you'll get knocked off your line. And it happened recently with me at Talladega, where I was holding 4th and 5th, and at one point 1st, and I got knocked out of the train.
Yeah, that's tough. Getting knocked out of line is always just such a tough thing. Because as a race car driver, you want to make the move. You want to race, And getting knocked out of line kind of...
Number one almost got hooked.
Yeah, that was almost a wreck back there as well. Back with the 72 car, just about got sent sideways by 64. 72 car is trying to look for an opening, I think. Look how much he's pinching down. And he really hooked the 16 trying to get down there, too.
16 succeeds, and the 72 is left on the outside.
Yeah. I mean, 72, he's going to have to fall back. He might be able to get between the 18 and the 81 if he falls down right now. He's got to make that move to get down right about now, and he does. So he gets back in line, kind of cuts his losses, doesn't stay out there for too long. That's the worst mistake you can make, is going outside and then starting to lose spots as the 81 gets hooked here. Goes into the outside wall, is able to keep it straight enough, though. And now they're starting to get racy. He's a big shove to the 61, nearly gets shoved out of line, is able to keep it going.
3 wide going to turn 3.
Yep, this is going to be real hard for these guys to keep it straight here. Getting 3 wide, jostling each other. They will stay straight. And the one car, once again, gets... See, you don't want to get out to such a big advantage. If you get out to like 6, 7 car lengths, the guy behind you gets a huge run on you, especially if you get a push, and they can just blow right past you. I mean, he can just blow right past you if he gets that run. That's why you don't want to get too far ahead of the guy behind you. You see the 61 gets that run right there. 7 car pounds the 18 up into the wall. But both of these guys stay straight. Now, Stampy, at what point do you think it's go time if you're driving in this race? Like right now, I think you kind of want to sit in line. But at what point do you personally want to start making your moves to the front of the field?
I believe that when you're making that decision, you have to adapt to the situation you're in right now. So if this was, let's say, a much longer race, if you had the pit strategy to go before the majority of the pack and you stayed out, I would think that it depends on whether or not you want to stay out, or in this case, since you only need to pit once, you would start to be more aggressive halfway through, as we see the number
15 just
15, yeah.
I think had an Ethan Mingalelli moment there, but thankfully he does not spear back on. That's good for him. I think he probably had a screen freeze when he was in the draft. It looked like he just came off the corner straight. As the 16 gets shoved out of line 3 wide for third.
Yeah.
18's going to take that position. Racing in the mid-pack is very good right now. These guys are, I mean, it doesn't look like much, but these guys are basically playing 200-mile-an-hour chess. You know, they're kind of darting in and out, trying to think ahead. That's what the real crux of that saying is. You know, a lot of plate racing is thinking ahead and planning your moves. As the 7 car gives the 18 a push, and now they might give the 1 a run for his money, but they aren't able to actually get the bump, really. It kind of just shoves them into the wall. Now they're going to have to regroup if they don't want to lose spots. 61 gets a shove from the 72. And we're getting towards the quarter way-point of this race. 100 miles, not too short, actually. That's a pretty decent length for a showcase race here at Daytona. And they are yet to make their pit stop, so it will be interesting to see, you know, are these guys all going to come pit as a group? Are they going to pit one by one? I mean, because you want to pit with other drivers, right, Stampy?
Yeah, especially when you have to make a green flag pit stop. Though I think that if you had the strategy of conserving and throttling your and feathering your throttle, you should be able to make it so that if there's a late race caution, you should be able to, you know, stay and go and pit with a lot of other drivers.
Yeah, see, pit strategy on plate tracks is always so interesting because on the one hand, you want to communicate your pit to other drivers, right? So you can come down together. But you never want to be the one guy who tries to organize a pit and everyone come down with you and then no one comes with you. You know, that's always
exactly.
And you have to look for your teammates and manufacturer mates. And especially a lot of these guys, I'm sure, don't know each other. I mean, these are all rookies. They're all new to the series, pretty much. So it's going to be hard, you know, picking who you want to come with, who you want to help, who you want to don't. And so far in this rookie showcase again, I've been very impressed by how much these guys haven't wrecked. You know, these guys are all, you know, as they say, rookies, and they all got the yellow stripes. And so far, not a single caution. I think this is a testament to how much these guys are respecting the, you know, the speed they're going at and respecting the fact that it's still pretty early on in this race.
Absolutely, but I think that once we start going mid-race to end game, you know, sort of the end, lap 30, lap 40, we're going to see a lot more aggression coming from these drivers, especially from the mid-pack, as they start to hope, you know, perhaps form an outside line that will carry them through the end of the race.
And I'm actually kind of surprised. This 61 of Racing Guest, he seems just fine where he is. He's just sitting there, you know. I think he don't really want to move around the one car. He doesn't seem to go outside of him, come inside. Oh, now he comes inside of him. But the one car comes back down over his nose and will block him. I mean, it looked like, I thought the 61 car could have had the spot there, but he lifted pretty big. So I think that he's perfectly fine sitting where he is right now.
And unless you get like one of those once-in-a-lifetime runs where you go, you know, 10 miles per hour faster than the rest of the pack, including the first place car, I don't think it's a a decision to make without a lot of risk to try and get the run on the leader.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and right now, actually, they're trying to tell guests to make a move. I believe it's the 72 car. We just told them that. And, yeah, actually, no, it was the 16 car who was in P last telling guests to make a move. So that's... I'm surprised you can see that far ahead. But guest is saying patience in chat, and that's something important. You were talking about that earlier, Stampy. Being patient is more important than making the move right now, because having the most laps led is nice, but, you know, if you only lead the last lap, that's the one that matters. So there ain't no point in getting yourself wrecked right now on lap 13 and having to claw all the way back up.
Especially when this is the beginning of the season. Like, I've seen drivers make aggressive moves to get into the lead so that they can get most laps led towards the end of the season so that they can get those extra points.
Yeah.
But I
just... even for points.
Yeah. But right now, I don't see any reason to be overly aggressive and possibly lose a lot of position.
Mm-hmm. And now the 61 car and 62 car, 2 Dodges in a line here behind 1 Chevy. I think that those guys right now, they might be trying to, you know, get something together. I believe there's the 2 team cars as well. Same number font on those. The 61 gets pushed into the 1 car. Again, gets a little bit squirrely. 1 car gets shoved down line. 62 goes to the outside. They're going to be forced 2 wide here. 72 tries to push both of them. 62 needs some help. The 1 car goes up to block that. And that stalls just about everyone out. And people are starting to call pits now in chat, it seems. So it's almost pit stop time here, Stampy. Now, getting on the pit road at Daytona, how hard is it? I know that it's a transition from a high bank to a low apron. But is it particularly difficult, like Talladega, to get your car stopped and slowed down, or is it pretty easy here?
I think it's, you know, when it comes to super speedways, for me personally, I think it's actually a lot easier than some speedways and short tracks. Mm-hmm. As the 61 gets
shoved upwards, he's gonna save it,
but loses a lot of position in the process. Down.
Yeah. I think he's pitting anyway, so I don't think he minds too much. We'll see who comes in this time. UPS car coming in, 62 as well. Medfred gets a huge jump in front of everybody and slows down in time. If he doesn't speed, that was a great job right there by the 72 of Medfred. Just kind of shoved it in front of everybody and braked really hard, really late to get onto pit road. And if that little jump there ends up not speeding, that's going to be a pretty good move. And nobody speeds on pit road. That's the ruling from the officials. And now 2 cars left on track, the 1 car and the 51, just all alone.
64 rolls into the...
all alone. And they're going to pit the next time by, I assume. Sir Guest says he is 200 fuel. And Baseball Freak is going to get off pit road here.
Number 64 had a lot of trouble, even slid into the infield, into the grass.
I think Kyle YT didn't have a great pit stop there. I don't know. He says his number didn't load. That's unfortunate. I've never been in that position where my pit box just didn't tell me it was my pit box, but if that's what happened to him, that's tough.
And as the number 1 now pits after the whole pack, gets back onto the track. Let's see if he can get a good enough pit stop. 62 stays out and has stayed out for both pit stops.
Yeah.
So we'll see what his strategy is.
Yeah, I don't know why the 1 car stayed out for an extra lap on top of everybody, unless everybody just kind of undercut him. But he had time to get it slowed down once he saw cars around him slowing down. I mean, we saw that 72 just have this huge run coming onto pit road. And we're going to have the 1 car probably rejoin mid-pack, it looks like, here. But we're going to have to wait for him to cycle around to see exactly who the leader is. But I believe Racing Guest Alt is going to have to come down this time as he comes into the tri-oval. And he's going to slow down in front of these grandstands here, get down to pit road speed and enter pit road here. The leader, we'll see if he's able to maintain that lead. I don't think so, considering the pack is on the back straightaway. But yeah, Stampy, after that pit cycle, anything there that you saw that was interesting to you or had strategy implications for the end game of this race?
Not particularly. I did think it was a bit weird that both the number 1 and 61, they did pit a cycle or 2 after the rest of the pack. Especially the 61, I honestly think it would have been better if he had just pitted with number 1. Because ultimately, I'm not going to question the number 1's decision, because if you're able to stay mid-pack, you know...
And the 61 has a drive-through penalty here, so that's...
Yeah, he missed his box, I saw that.
Yeah, that's unfortunate for him. That's going to move him to the tail of the field. He's going to have to need a caution to get back into this thing.
And more onto what I said, I do question the the thinking process on pitting after, like 2 cycles after the rest of the pack, and it looks like it just cost them a lot of position.
Yeah, I think that's a huge miscalculation from those guys because they didn't get this. For one thing, even if you didn't mess up pit road like the 61 did, you're going to have to deal with the fact that you're not having the draft, which everyone else has. That's why you come down and pit as a group, is that everyone gets back off and has speed. As we see, the new leader is the 62 machine of CC13C. And yeah, that's I believe, our first lead change of the race. Our first one that actually stuck to the line besides the pit cycle one. But he's got a group of 4 cars coming up on him here. And all those guys seem to be pretty well organized. The 7, 68, 21, and 02. The 21 of Bolt is actually, he's made a pretty good way through a field here. But apparently Bolt has major vision lag as well, so that's not good. Kind of... that hurts your ability to make moves here, doesn't it?
Oh, yeah.
That's this leader. They're going to probably run him over here, I think, because he's going to have way less speed than the guys coming up on him. So he's going to have to time it right. He's going to have to come down and block him or just let him by and file in here because it's going to be hard to block these guys if they try and pass him. But these 4 cars in a row lined up behind the leader, that's your lead pack right now. And, you know, pitting on a super speedway is, I think, it's more important than pitting anywhere else because if you get it wrong, you're going to be left out of the draft and you're going to be miles slower versus if you mess up pitting on intermediate, you're still going to be going the same speed as everyone else when you get out. And you can theoretically make up time. But the 62 maintains the lead, and it looks like that those guys are actually backing it up. You see they're slowing down a little bit there. Backing up to each other. They're going to try and get another run at him. And that 7 car, if you're him, what do you want to do here? You want to try and just get to the leader, or you want to try and make a move underneath or to the high side of him?
I mean, personally, I would just be staying with the pack in order to get a decent run. Because ultimately, if you try and catch up, and then you start to make a move without the help of anyone else, you're surely to be left to suffer and run dry.
Yeah, and Baseball Freak just caught up to the leader there, gave him a big old push, and now he's backing it back up to these 4 cars. Now there's another group of cars just a bit behind these guys. It's got 7 cars, I believe, in line. So it's going to be interesting to see those guys catch up. That's either 4, 5, 6, or 7. I'm going to try and get my view on those. Yes, that's another group of cars. There's a couple of groups of cars now. There's a 4-car group behind this lead group, and there's another group of 3 cars behind them. But it's about 5 seconds from the lead group to the second group. 6 seconds now. And it's a bit further from them to the next group behind them. But a 5-car lead group might actually start to gap this second group a bit. I don't know if they're going to be able to get caught up too well, simply because these front 5 are so well organized. And Smalls, we talked about him earlier. He's just rejoined the race after having some sort of issue. He's coming back on track now.
Good to hear.
Yeah, and the 62 car kind of moving up, fading back down in front of the 7 there. And there's a bit of racecraft here, and there's also a bit of gamesmanship, figuring out when to go, when not to go. As the 7 gets to the 62, almost gets underneath him. And for a moment on my screen, it looked like he did get underneath him. But he's
me too.
Big push him to 68 here, though. 62 comes back down, blocking pretty hard here for this early in the race, but he had plenty of room to make that move. It's just kind of surprising he cut down so fast on the 7 there. Could have chopped his nose if the 7 got a run at the wrong time. Not a lot of room to react, on these plate tracks, because if you make a move and mess up just a tiny bit, it can have consequences for everyone right behind you, too. Now, Stampy, what the 62 is doing here, washing up, can you explain that, why he's washing up on the straightaways and in the corners? They're kind of breaking up the draft, but can you explain how that works in these cars?
In these cars specifically, I can't give much input. As we see the 7 go on the outside of the 62 and start to get a run.
Yeah, a bit of side drafting there.
Oh yeah, he's grabbing that dirty air, and
62 is going to be able to out-drag him here on the straightaway, though, unless... Oh, nope, 7 gets help. And now the leader gets left out to dry on the bottom. See if anyone comes down for him. Nope, he's not going to even try to have someone come down for him. He's going to drop to the back of this group here. 68 gets a run on the 7. So now Baseball Freak to the lead. Looks like he's going to lead this one to the line to lead the lap.
Wow, that was a great run. And show the power of the outside line. I mean, obviously against a single car.
Yeah, and that's coordination right there. That's what having coordination helps you on a plate track. And that helps all
Definitely.
these guys. It's kind of a you scratch my back, I'll scratch yours kind of deal, right? Because
Mhm.
those guys push you, and then you abandon them. They're going to remember that later in the race. But if you bring them up with you, but if you let them come up with you, then they're going to remember that. They might push you at the end. And that's a really important thing in these plate races, right? Is having a push car at the end. As 68 goes to the outside of the 7. Now the 7's going to get. A moment ago, I was talking about how the 7 was going to get help here, but it looks like
Coordinating.
he's not getting help this time. 68 gets to the lead here.
As a 21 now gets left.
Yeah, 21 gets left. These guys are all just backstabbing each other. I guess it is a showcase race, but these guys are showcasing how cruel the human condition really can be. I mean, come on.
I think it was also just an unfortunate timing, as the number 2 had given the 7 a bump, and it just closed that gap way too fast for the 21 to come on down behind the 68.
Uh-huh. Now the 7 car sitting behind the 68 machine here. I do wonder if he's going to try and pull out again here, because these guys seem to just be trading laps led here. I think these guys are going to be the ones who are fighting for the win here, coming down to it. Because apparently they are only going to have to make one pit stop. They made that stop. 62 giving a big push to the 7. 68 comes up to block. 7 comes down underneath him. He gets underneath, and he's going to make the pass here. 62 has a choice here. Who does he help? Looks like he's going to stay with the 7, who he was pushing. 68 tries to come back down, gets himself turned on the nose of the 62, and he noses into the wall. And he's going to lose a lot of time to that. 7 car gets about a 10 car advantage over the next car behind him. That'll give Baseball Freak the lap led here. But some very aggressive defending there, and that's what happens. You get turned off the nose of another car. Luckily for him, he's able to keep it straight and doesn't actually spin all the way around. We've still gone caution-free during this plate race. We are 25 laps in, just over 50 miles into this race here. Stampy, we're getting towards the back end of this race here. Do you think that it's imperative for these guys to continue racing the way they are, kind of a bit carefully, or do you think that it's time to go? Because you have to kind of pick the right points. You don't want to go too early, cause a wreck, and get everyone yelling at you, you know?
Yeah, I think there's always a level of caution you need to approach with making moves and whatnot. As we see the wow, and that is one of
huge
the
run.
That's one of the once in a lifetime runs I was talking about. Where if you don't think you're gonna get help or a great run as the 62 just did, it's very, very risky to try and make a move on the leader by going on the outside. I think that the closer we get to
21 gets turned up in front of the group and blows over, and these guys try to keep it straight. 7 car hits the wall again.
7 car still getting loose.
He still saves it, and that second group is now catching.
21 has been left as he's just entering corner 2.
Yep, and he's gonna have to probably drop back to that second group here and try and get that 5 car group cut up on what is now a 4 car group of the leaders. I mean, that's just really unfortunate. That was just hard racing, led to a big old wreck. So, CC13 back to the lead. He was leading after the pit cycle, but got swallowed up by the group. But looking behind him, that second group's going to start
trying to make a
here,
move on the leader by going on the outside. I think that
soon enough.
The closer we get to
21 gets turned up in front of the group and blows over, but I think it's go time now. It seems like that's the consensus. There's a couple of guys might be talking about pitting in the chat here, dropping some P's out there. Now, this second pit stop, we saw this first pit stop really, split this field in half, or split it into quarters, actually. Do you think the second pit stop is the same thing, or do you think guys have figured out how to do it at this point? That they'll be able to keep themselves even with each other and not lose any positions?
I think that that's going to come down to coordination in order to execute a flawless pit stop. Otherwise, although it's going to be really hard for these guys to come back into the position that they're in right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and Trainwreck's kind of directing traffic in the chat right now, telling each other, you all got to stay together out of this pit stop, or else we're going to lose a lot of time. And it really broke up the pack the first time. It's Jay Walter, the first guy to come down pit road. And the pit road wall has been moved and is now sitting on pit lane across people's boxes.
Ooh, that
will bring out the caution.
And as we see that second pack behind the leading pack break off, only half stayed out.
Yeah, and that brought out the caution there. A couple of things happened. One guy got hit by a pit limiter. The pit road wall broke, and Now everyone's going to get the chance to come down pit road. A very eventful start to this caution. So, I believe that there's a lot of guys who were coming down pit road at the time the caution came out, so it'll be interesting to see what happens to them. So, we'll wait for them to cycle through. The pace car's on the back straightaway, and I guess he picked up the 81 as the leader?
I think so.
And we have a massive cloud for 62. Yeah, can we get a replay of the pit wall on anchoring? If we got it.
As it's an unofficial red flag on the backstretch.
So we're going to wait and see what happens here. I believe that they just need to reset the pit wall and put it back where it was before, which they appear to not have done yet.
Nope, it's back.
It seems like they've got it figured out, thanks to the help of Icky. Who knew that he was a certified craftsman, able to rebuild a wall? He's a man of many trades, isn't he, Stampy?
Absolutely.
Let's see. 31 or 11 laps to go. I think they'll probably be restarting with 10 to go after he pace around a couple of times after this caution's over. Do you think that at this point in the race, it's time? I mean, everyone's going to be back on one group, so you have to kind of just erase everything, you know? But, well, what do you think about the rest of this race? What's your strategy if you're in the mid-pack, like a lot of these guys are?
Well, I mean, some of these guys did not time their pit cycle before the caution. Like, some of these guys got lucky, like the number 7 car in the lead pack. Those guys timed their pit stop just right where they were able to pit right before the caution. So it depends on the ones who stayed out and the caution was thrown out, whether or not they want to go back into pits or if they want to maintain whatever position they have.
Yeah, those guys got real lucky. And apparently the restart only single file I hear now. We'll see as everyone gets lined up. Apparently you're supposed to drink water, Stampy.
I drank water earlier.
Gotta keep drinking water. You don't want to pass out here. Now everybody's gotten back in a line here. Everyone's going to come down towards pit road or not. Pace car doesn't have lights in this series, so I actually don't know when they're going green or not. That is just such a beautiful car, though. The Pontiac Grand Prix, I mean... I actually can't tell. Is the pace car a earlier Gen 4 car? It looks like a Cup 90 car almost. Or sorry, a Cup 98 car. I don't know. I'm going to have to ask Matt about that. Very interesting pace car design here. We'll see exactly what the field does as they come towards the pit lane and the restart zone. I believe the pits are open this time, we're just told.
Yeah, that is confirmed. Yeah, pits are open this time, so we're going to see...
I think we're going to see everyone but the lead pack pit. I don't know if the 71 got serviced, because the pit wall broke right as he was getting into his box. Or sorry, the 7. I don't believe he got serviced, but we'll see if he did or not. If he's staying out, he got serviced, so everyone's going to come down pit road here. Now, it's imperative here that you don't speed, because speeding here is not only pointless, it don't help you, but that can send you to the back, and then you have to claw all the way back up. As we see everyone coming to their boxes, looks like everyone near the back gets into their box okay. Nobody misses their stall. The 21, excuse me, has a hard time getting into his box. The 07 overshoots his box. That's going to hurt his pit stop time average. Ugh, that's a mouthful. Pit stop time. I don't know why that's a tongue twister, but it is. The 07's probably going to be the last car off pit road here as he gets clocked from behind. I don't know who just absolutely destroyed that man while he's sitting in his box. I don't know if that's a penalty or not, but that ain't good. And Isaiah says, I wasn't looking, my bad. just ran over this man. My bad. But we're going to see where everyone scored as they come around here onto the back straightaway. Trooper is getting 1 lap added to him, so he's going to be back on the lead. We got Smalls a couple laps down and off track, I believe, once again. So Smalls is once again out on the track. Tough scene for him. I mean, I was expecting to see Smalls out here causing wrecks, raising hell, but he hasn't really been in the race much. I assume he has something else to go to, but that's tough, you know. It's missing your showcase. These guys still got the Daytona race coming up there. So now, from what you've seen in this race, Stampy, who do you think is going to win at this point? Who's your prediction? You said you were going to wait till the end. We got 11 laps to go. Who are you going? Who do you think is going to get this one?
I think it's going to be baseball. Towards the middle of the race, you know, lap 20, lap 25, I was honestly very, very impressed by the coordination he had with the other four, the 21, the 2, and I forgot who was in the fourth, to get that number 62 out of his line and to get that run to take the lead. I was honestly impressed by his coordination, and I am hedging my bets towards him winning this race.
All right. Well, you heard it from Stampy there. Gunning for Baseball Freak here. I picked Baseball Freak here too. He has a very good spot. Good run coming on the outside for 17. Oh, the 7 gets taken 3 wide here. 18's got a nose on him. He's going to have to let up. And that 18 car, I believe that's struggle to find who that is. He's going to take the lead here.
As the 72 comes down to help him.
Jay Walters going to take the lead. The 7 car's got no help on the outside. And this big line of cars is going to come rumbling past him unless he gets down. I don't really see a window for him to get down because everyone's closing up. He's going to have to get help. And the 02 goes high, but he forces the 7 even higher. So that completely messes up the run. And the 18 car is going to come to take 10 to go with a pretty sizable advantage and no help for the outside line as this big inside line gets running again. 10 to go here for Jay Walta. And the 72 pushes him wide. I guess he doesn't get to lead that lap. How quickly things can change in racing as Medford gets to the lead.
Especially on super speedways.
Yeah, I was moving so fast, and that was a huge run, 72 to shove the 18 out of line. And we saw that a lot during last season in B-Road. You know, guys can just shove each other out of line here with these cars, this package. You just clock the guy in front of you and hope he moves up the track. As the 18 goes to the outside, using a bit of that side draft, 81 has a choice here. Is he going to help his manufacturer mate on the outside, or is he going to stick with the bottom? He goes high, and then he feints back down low for the corner. Tucks in line. As we see one car go below the white line. Comes back up. 7 car goes to the outside. Huge run coming here.
And it won't be enough.
Won't be enough. He needed more help. The 18 had to stay out there with him. 81 car is going to help from the 1 car if he wants to make a move here. He's just going to ask back to 72, and they're going to stay in line. And now that 7 car just going to have to try and get that run again. He needs help to do it. But will it be enough? I mean, now we're coming towards 9 to go. Coming towards 8 next time by. And I actually don't know if baseball seems to be able to get back in line. He gets back in 5th. That might be too far back. If these guys go too wide in front of him, he's still going to be the 3rd car in whatever line he chooses. Unless he's the one who makes the move. So I think it's imperative for him to be the guy who makes the move. Because at this point, I mean, any further back you go is immaterial. I think it's time to start going. As the 1 car gets free of the 81, with pushing the 18, 72 holding a 1 car length, now a half car length, and no car length advantage. As the 1 car shoves him up the track a little bit. A little bit of a baby tap there, unable to get him out of the groove though, and the 72 will hold the lead. 1 car feinting high here. He's got the 18 behind him. He's got another car, that's the 81 back there as well, who could help him.
Very weird. The 81 had a slow reaction time going into that gap until the 18 closed it.
Oh,
so.
16 blowing over, and and he swerves back up on the track. Doesn't collect anyone else, and we stay green. Keep going. Sorry.
I was just commentating on how the 81, there was a gap big enough to slide down, but I was very, very perplexed by the slow reaction time, and he was left to be alone on the outside. Now he's in 5th,
going into that gap.
Yeah,
I don't know what that was about. 16 5th. The 18 and the 81, they got over together. They're manufacturer mates. I think they're teammates as well, same number font and everything. 2 Gibbs-looking cars there, and I think they gotta work together here at the end of this race as we come towards. Now it'll be 7 laps to go. Excuse me.
Definitely the only way to do it, as the 18 goes back outside.
And now the 72 goes high for the 1, and the 1 car is just gonna march in to take the lead. That's in Fortnite and Millie Rock taking it. Now let's see if that number 72 Pontiac can get back down. He does, but he chops the 7 really hard. He nearly wrecked the 7 there. That was not a big gap. He's able to just barely find his way into that hole. And now, once again, the 1 car gets a huge advantage over everyone else, and that's almost a disadvantage. You don't want to have that big of a lead because these guys are going to run up on you, and it looks like they're going to run up on him too wide. He's got to make a choice here which lane he wants to work as the 72 gets turned sideways by the 81, comes back up the track, keeps it straight. That jostles him out of line. And now they're still 2-3 wide. They're going to be 2 wide again for 3rd place as Baseball Freak gets back to the lead. Sitting back in the pack right now is we got the 02.
Ooh, the number 2 almost bowls over.
And he's out of this thing now. He's not getting back in that group. That's tough for him. You've been in that position before, Stampy, I'm sure. How is it when you get knocked out of the group here late on a plate track and you're just praying for a caution? It's pretty nervous, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, and especially when it's that bad, when you blow over and head straight into pits, which I've done. It is, like, never a good feeling. In fact, I would argue it's one of the worst feelings to have while you're racing.
As we got a car on the apron here, everyone tries not to run directly into him, and they succeed. And he says he's limited, so that's unfortunate. Now we have a replay of that incident, and now they're still 2-3 wide. They're going to be 2 wide again for 3rd place. As Baseball Freak gets back to the lead, it came towards the
back in the
pack right now.
Ooh, number 2 almost bowls over.
Not his fault. That's a tough scene. Wasn't his fault whatsoever as the 1 car gets shot way down the racetrack and trying to pass Baseball Freak here. Baseball Freak slides back in the line. 5 laps to go here for this rookie showcase event. And the 63 gets a huge run on the bottom. You're talking about those once-in-a-lifetime runs. This one is going to get him all the way from 4th to 2nd place, which doesn't sound like much, but he had to pass 6 cars to get there, basically. So, nice move right there. So, at this point in the race, when do you time the move? Because I would usually argue come off of turn 2 on the last lap. That's when you pull out. But with these cars on this platform, when do you reckon it's time to come out or, make your move on a track like this?
Quite frankly, if you have the coordination, if you have the coordination and the teamwork necessary, I think that is a sound strategy. Coming off of turn 3 to pull out as the number 1 car goes straight into pits.
He goes straight into the pit limiter.
Whoa!
And spins in the grass.
He's out of this.
Yeah, he's out of this thing now. That's unfortunate. I was wondering if he thought he was out, he's going to run out or something, but he shot it down into the grass and spun around. That's unfortunate for him. He was running a great race, and he's still spinning through the infield grass.
Wow.
He doesn't get a lag spike. That's bad timing to get a lag spike when you're leading the race coming into the tri-oval at Daytona.
With 18.
And now Baseball Freak once again.
But yeah, But like I was
BIRA, there's no overtime rules. So if these guys wreck after they get to lap 39, it's over. So I think that adds a little bit to how cautious you got to be, or how cautious you not want to be. If you're in 2nd place coming to the flag, I think it's time to just send it. Because there ain't gonna be no green white checkers coming to that after that white. I mean, there's no green white checkers in this league, period. So here we go, 3 laps to go. I think it's go time now, and these guys are definitely showing it, ain't they, Stampy?
Certainly. But continuing on what I was saying earlier, I think that the strategy of pulling on the outside line on the coming to the last corner into the tri-oval is a sound strategy, especially if you have the teamwork and coordination to pull it off. Yeah. I mean, overall, if you don't have either of those things, or even just one of those things, it can be quite tricky to time the move. I think now that we've heard about the overtime rules, as the number 7, he still saves it.
Yeah.
And saves his spot. I think that now that we've confirmed that there aren't any green-white checkers, I think that changes the mentality, especially since if you become over-aggressive and you take a huge risk and it fails, there won't be a caution.
Yeah. And now we're at 2 to go here. Baseball Freak still holding that lead. The runs in these cars are so much bigger than they are in iRacing or in NR03. I mean, you can make the move as late as you want almost here. These runs come so big and so fast. But look at that 14 car. He gets that kind of run in the tri-oval. He's shooting down to the outside or inside. And he's really hounding the 7 now. Really getting on his bumper, too. And honestly, he's pushing this 7 car away from the field. And those guys are going to run up on these guys. They're going to have a big run as they come to the white flag. 1 to go this time. And Baseball Freak, your pick, Stampy, he's sitting up in the lead right now, sitting pretty, but he is kind of helpless if these guys get a huge run. We got a car stopped in the infield grass there.
Yeah, and I bet that his keyboard is soaked right now as he is being pushed to the limit and is nervous as hell. I've been in that situation where I'm trying to hold on to the lead near the end of the race as white flag comes out now.
Yep. I mean, absolutely white knuckling it too up there as well. 14 gets him out of groove. 14 wasn't quite able to get back down. That 7 car, he might be good here. He might actually be good if these guys can't get organized. They have to make a move on him. They need organization. And there's a big gap. 14 backing it up to the next car, trying to build that run. And here comes that run off the corner. 7 car moves up to block it. But the 14's going to dive to the inside. He gets his nose level with the wheel. 7 car can't come down now. Door banging down the back straightaway. 7 trying to squeeze the 14. 14 still has that nose just inside of the wheel of the 7. And they touch again. 14 gets shoved below the line. And now the 14 goes to the lead. 72 in second now. 63 shoved below the line. I don't know if that was so much of a shove. And here they come to the tri-oval. And that's going to be Isaiah who's going to win this race.
Wow.
They go 4-1 behind him. Slap move. What a show right there that was by these rookies, Stampy.
Especially in wow, I never expected a move to be made like that during white flag. Especially since it was on the backstretch. Wow, the way he went to the outside to force Isaiah to block. And then immediately came down. You saw I think it was who was behind the 14 helping him? The 70.
I don't know. There was a bunch of guys who were jostling with him right there.
If I remember correctly,
he backed all the way up to that 72 car. It was a 72 car. He backed all the way up to him. That's really smart, you know.
Yeah.
On the last lap, let that leader get his lead, and he's helpless. I mean, even if he blocks, as fast as you're coming, you can still react to it and make the move. And I like how he plunged to the inside there and got himself on the yellow line, because if you're anchored to that yellow line and you get alongside, you have the right to the next corner, you know? Even if he shoves you down, you're going to be on the apron, but you're still going to have the right to be down there and have a shorter way around. I think that's great racecraft by the 14.
Yeah, it was it was the 72. So like I said, that was some serious side coordination. How they made Isaiah think that the 1472 were going to get the run on the outside, and then the moment Isaiah went to block, both the 14 and 72 came down to the inside and blocked him out.
And that was a pretty classic plate racing move too. I mean, you get one car behind you, and he had to stay coupled to him too. He really needed that push to come all the way through the move, because if you pull out at the wrong time and lose that run, it's bad timing as the 01 goes careening into the 14 who's trying to do his burnout. That's a tough scene. If we can get the camera on the 14 for his burnout, that'd be cool. I don't know if it's on him or not, actually, because the stream is frozen on my Discord. But the 14, you know, he's... probably the 01. But yeah, the 14 here is going to burn it down on the start-finish line. And I mean, that was a well-deserved win right there, Stampy. I mean, he did everything he needed to do, Isaiah, and I feel like that's one of those great moves. And I hate to talk about myself right now, but like a 14 car making that kind of move, you usually see it on an NR, but here on Roblox, we just saw Isaiah do that. That was a classic maneuver, and that's something that you can't teach that. You know, that's something that comes from experience and learning, which is ironic considering this is a rookie race. But you know, I think that's just what you want to see. That's what you want to see here on these plate races, is a guy making a move and winning the race, not having it handed to him. And Stampy, yeah, that's all I got to say. You got anything else on that?
Absolutely. I think that was a great finish by Isaiah. My heart goes out to In49 Millie Rock, leading the race for a lot of, for the majority of it, and then just flat out, collapses in the last 3 laps.
Yeah, and it wasn't even his fault. His screen froze.
Yeah.
You hate to see it. That's something you just hate to see happen to the guy. And it's a tough scene, but it happens, and that's part of racing. And it's going to happen to him again someday, I'm sure. And he's going to have a day where he doesn't have that happen to him. And you just got to roll with the punches, take what the races give you. You just have to kind of roll with the punches and keep on racing. There's going to be more opportunities to crack at the end of a race, especially for that guy. I mean, he's a good driver. He'll have chances to get back up there again. Probably have a chance later this week at the Clash and at the 500, of course, as well as in Jackal. So, that's just how it is.
Definitely.
And that's how racing can be a real bitch sometimes. It's, I think everyone here knows that. We're gonna have Isaiah in here for an interview momentarily. He's in here. We'll get him unmuted. Isaiah, congratulations on the win. Walk us through the move there.
Okay, so first, before I explain everything, I just gotta say thank you to Medfred. I wouldn't have been able to win that car. But I don't know. I forgot what number that was. I think I knew what it was. It was baseball, I believe. I faked the back with going up high, so he would think I was
going to be Isaiah who's going to win this race.
Wow.
Surprisingly. And I just started celebrating, but I didn't think it was going to be over yet. So I kept trying. The Medfred kept pushing, which I was happy. So I just got to think every time.
I love that move, feigning outside and then diving down, because it gives the guy in the lead so little time to react. I pulled a move like that just the other week. That is the classic plate racing move. We saw that at Jackal Talladega too. That is just the way you make moves happen when you got one push car coming up on the leader behind you, And Medfred was a great push car for you there too. Is there anything there at the end? You saw who was it in the one car who had a lag spike while they were leading? That's just a tough scene. And
yeah, Fortnite.
Oh yeah, that was eBay. I was working at the beginning of the race. I was gonna agree to work with eBay Joel Racing, but I wrecked myself at the beginning of the race, so I was in the back most of the time. But that's all good, to be honest. So at the end, that late race caution came out. I started to perform well and got the win.
Yeah, that was great. And kind of talk about that car. That is it's a bit anachronistic for a 2004 Cup car, but it just looks nice. That has a beautiful scheme. At 14 with the chrome too. I like the chrome paint on it. Now, for the rest of the season here in BRA, what are your expectations?
Well, this is only a plate race, I gotta say. Hopefully I can perform well. I like the cars, how they feel and all that stuff. So hopefully I can perform well. Don't know yet, though. So, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Hoping to make Brian proud. Yeah.
Yeah, well, congratulations on the win, man. Anything else you wanted to say, dude?
Yeah, this is my first win since November.
What?
I haven't won since November.
Get out of here. I thought, what? Damn, man.
Yeah.
Congratulations, man. Must feel good winning after such a long drought.
Congrats, man.
Thank you.
Yeah, well, congratulations. Have a nice day. Have a nice month. And we'll see you at the next one, man.
All right, peace.
And Isaiah, that getting your first win in a showcase, that's pretty fun. Now we had Sleesher in here for a moment. All right, I thought we were gonna have Sleesher, but we're gonna have a baseball freak in here. Medfred declines the interview. Second place finisher. Now, Stampy, after looking through that race, what you saw from these rookies, what do you expect from them for the rest of the season?
I see a lot of potential in each and every one of these drivers. Just especially for the ones that were able to properly communicate and coordinate. I think that we're gonna see a lot of races with a lot of strategy, and it's gonna be because of these drivers.
Now we're gonna try and get baseball freak in here for everybody. And what you said there was the strategy. These rookies. A lot of these guys are rookies in name only. They're new to this series, but they've been around the block. They've been around the block. They've been driving for years, and some of these guys are awful dang good at their job too. So I reckon that they're gonna have some of these guys are gonna make waves. I'm not gonna say we're gonna have a rookie champion. I'm just saying it ain't unlikely. There's so many great rookies.
Yeah.
So we got baseball freak in here, waiting for him to unmute himself. And baseball freak, you hear us? Baseball, you got us?
Hello.
Baseball, you there?
We heard you momentarily.
Baseball, you hear us?
Oh.
All right, we got you, baseball freak. Baseball. At the end there, you got beat on the back straightaway. Tell us, how was the race for you?
Good. I tried to block him, but it didn't work. Much I could do.
Yeah, honestly.
Very good answer there, baseball. You got anything else you want to say? We ain't got much to ask you. It's a rookie showcase event, but first race, of the season for you in Bira. Just how do you feel you're gonna do the rest of the season, man?
Pretty good if I can show up. Kind of trouble with but I think I'll be pretty good. Kind of win a race. It's been a while.
Yeah, I mean the winner of this race was going on, I think, a 4-month drought. So, sometimes we have them droughts. It's been a while since we won, but you got to come back and it's rolling with the punches and coming back from those kind of setbacks. Now, is there anything you think you could have done differently at the end of this race to give yourself a win? Other than that, once you get faded high and they dive low, there's not much you can do. But is there anything you wish you did better at the end of the race?
Could have blocked them a little bit better and hit their outside. And I almost hadn't cleared on the outside, but I came down on him a little bit early and stopped my run.
Yeah. That's tough, It's like there's always these shoulda, coulda, wouldas in these plate races. When you're leading and then you lose it. But we all been there. It's a tough scene, but you got to fight on. Anything else you want to say?
It was a good race. I had fun.
All right. Thank you, Baseball Freak. I believe 3rd or 4th place finisher. I didn't actually catch where he finished there. A couple of cars were side by side, and I don't have the actual timing scoring, just the automatic timing and scoring, which isn't always accurate. Sometimes, due to the non-vision lag, it is a little bit different than what the actual result is. So finished up there and had a pretty good run. So I believe that'll do it for us here on the Jackal Racing Network. I've been AJ. That's Stampy. Stampy, fun broadcasting with you.
Thank you.
Maybe drink some more water next time.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, well, definitely a good race for us there, and that's the next generation of BIRA stars showing us what they got. We got the Clash later this week, I believe. That is on. If I can just pull it up here on my screen. Apologies, my screen's frozen actually, so give me a second. Yeah, we got the Clash here on the 15th. That's coming up. It's next Tuesday, and that's what we're looking forward to next here on this channel. For BIRA. I'm AJ, that's Stampy, and hope you have a good one. We'll see you next time. See ya.